Hey, I have a question for you. Can you take the psychology of the team? How do you take psychology of your team in a crisis right now and transform that into a psychology of a culture right now in your practice? So, hey, I'm Dr. Fred and Dr. Roberto. You know us. Hey, he's probably one of the, if not the best human behavior specialists, teach you how to influence in groups. I teach it one-on-one, and we're here. We have a psychology problem and we need a psychology solution. And one of the things that I'm finding on coaching calls is the psychology of your team is determining what's happening in your practice. Because I notice when the doctor wavers, if the doctor is scared of either spreading the coronavirus or they're scared of getting sick, and that happens, or maybe, patients are calling. When patients are calling and canceling, when doctors at their practice 70, 80% down, I find it's the belief system of the leader. The leader doesn't have confidence. When the doctor has confidence and the team is scared, like maybe, they're in rehab, we don't want to touch people. I see those practices are about 40 to 60% down. But when I find the doctor is unwavering, they know that chiropractic helps the immune system. They have a unified belief system in the team. The team has unwavering conviction. Those practices are only 20% down. Now, you may think it's my demographic and people are calling and I taught them this, and I get it. We are in a highly atypical situation. There's two causes. One, they aren't living the lifestyle, so you gave them information, but that isn't enough. Or the team psychology of the leader or the team is not 100% convicted. And that's it. This is a litmus test for how is your communication and what's the psychology of your team. Both of those answers are psychology problems. So we talked about this before. Now here's a message I would give to your patients and give to your team. And I was watching this research video of this doctor. He was an Indian doctor from Canada, a DNA specialist studying viruses. And here's what he said. 90% of the people affected by the virus will be asymptomatic. 10% will have flu-like symptoms, and 1 to maybe 2, but 1% are going to die. And so when we look at the difference, the virus is static. In other words, the virus is the same in every person. But why does one person die or get symptoms and another person is asymptomatic? There's only one variable. And what is that, gang? You know what it is.
The person.
It's the person. It's the health and the immune system of the person. So when you look at your team, if your team is scared or any of your patients are scared, this is a story I would put on video and I would talk to your team and talk to your patients. Why are they scared? They're concerned about the vulnerability of their own health. That is the primary fear. Now, should we limit our interaction? No question. Is limiting our interaction going to eliminate our exposure from the virus? Nope. Because all you got to do is walk in Whole Foods, man.
Yep.
I'm going into Whole Foods. Hey, you know what? They only let one person at a time. I'm getting my produce, but everybody's fingered all through the, you just got exposed. Let's just say, somebody coughed in there 30 seconds ago that you didn't know about. They're in a different aisle. Sorry, you just breathed it in. If you're stepping out your front door, you're exposed. But what's the one variable? This is the variable that your team has absolute confidence in. Now, here's the confidence in your team. Here's one way you build that confidence. You were born for this moment. We all are a spirit having a human experience. In this human experience, we're running into an atypical challenge. Yet wherever your team is at, they're at this point in their life. This is their life purpose. This is a step in their purpose. And when they master this step, they're going to move on to something even bigger, which we can't even imagine. What's bigger than this right now? This is an opportunity to impact humanity, and the strength and conviction and purpose of your team to know the only thing that we can control, there's only one thing we can control, and that's the power of our body, the power of our mind, the power of our spirit, the power of our thoughts, the power of our body, the power of our spine, the power of our nervous system, power of our immune system, and the power to be a messenger to help change more lives.
Love that, brother. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Amen to that. You preach. I was like, man, preach. Keep preaching. I love it.
Yeah,
you know, but it,
about the identities of the team.
Yeah, that was so true. When I was in 2008, 2009, I was working with a lot of mortgage professionals in those years. And then 2010, the Mortgage Meltdown happened. And just like you see in some chiropractic offices where you see some offices literally disappear. Give an example. We had loan officers were making probably, let's say, $100,000 a month. And they go for a month to make $100,000, next month, nothing. I mean, literally. And that happens to a lot of mortgage brokers, loan officers. And at that time, they had 250,000. Chiropractic has 50,000, 250,000. And I saw a very distinct pattern that was determined by their identity, right? One pattern, around 50% or so, just quit, right? Just like, dude, I'm a quitter. And they just quit. They stood tough, and they quit the profession. They quit the industry. So then you have the other 50%. The other 50%, I would say around 5 to 10%, their identities were, dude, I'm a warrior. I'm a leader. I'm influencer. This is not happened to me. It's happened for me, right? Whatever happens in my life is for my best outcome, right? Whatever happens to me is for my best life. It's for my best outcome. And what happens to that, the 10%, let's call it, because they didn't attach the results to who they were, they step back and like, okay, this is happening everywhere. How can I improve? How can my team improve? How can my systems improve? How can I use this to make it better? How can I communicate? And then what happened was that within a year, 2 years, that the top 5, 10%, man, they dominated. They dominated even more. Why? Because the competition was gone, right? And then you had, the 40 to 45% in the middle, and that say, no, I'm gonna ride this. And what happens though? They had this quote unquote victim identity psychology, and they allow the results define who they were. So, for example, for the middle, so let's call it 50% quit, 45% or 40% stay in the middle, but they allow the results define who they were. And now, so when I was making 100,000 a month, it was amazing. Then my income disappeared, and now, man, maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I was not born for this moment. I don't have other choice. I'm going to stay. And these people in the middle, man, I saw they struggle for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years because they attach the results to their identity, right? And while the 5 to 10%, the leaders, they just understand, hey, man, it's a crisis, right? This happened. I'm not going to take this personal. Now, it's happening to my business. I lost income too, but I was born for this moment. I'm a leader. I'm an influencer. I'll find a way. This is happening. This is the best. This is happening for me to improve my life. And then they figure it out. They figure out a way. And that's part of their identity. You see, in sports, I love to follow basketball, the NBA, and it's always about the team who's not winning. And they always go back to this. We don't have an identity yet. We don't have the team is too young. We don't have identity yet. Or I don't have an identity of defense team. Why? Because defense wins championships. So it's always go back to who you are. And I think like in chiropractic, especially when you have a very strong philosophy and understand chiropractic philosophy, then you have this identity. And Dr. Fred said something that's really powerful. You said that now, you shows how well you have educated your patients during the last year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, right? Because, hey, in Facebook, I see a lot of posts of doctors, of patients saying, man, you're a blessing, you're a healer, I'm so glad you're still open. And so like, man, because that doctor was able to educate. You see, in persuasion communication, chiropractic is good in the level 1, level 2, not level 3. The first level they call attitude shaping. That means like when someone has no attitude or no perception about chiropractic, and the doctor goes educate someone through video, through a workshop, what chiropractic is. It's called attitude shaping. When someone goes from no attitude, no understanding of chiropractic, to somehow, some way understand of chiropractic. The level 2 is attitude. When you convert someone's attitude, right? And then they goes from not being a chiropractic patient to becoming a chiropractic patient. When you actually convert someone, they call attitude changing. So the first one is called attitude shaping, and the second one you convert is called attitude changing, when you actually change someone from like a non-believer to believer, right? But the problem, most chiropractors, they stop there, and the most successful doctors, and I know Dr. Fred Domenico preached that too, they focus on also on attitude reinforcing, right? That means like you reinforce the principles of chiropractic care through the rest of their lives, right? And that's what you see in the people who, the patients who understand, not only they were in a process of like not knowing chiropractic to knowing chiropractic, attitude shaping, right? From not becoming a patient to become a patient, attitude changing, I change my attitude, and the doctor, educator, teacher, communicator is able to educate throughout the rest of the life, right? Because now it's attitude reinforcing. And I feel, and I was thinking the other day, look, now, if you're in New York and you say, look, you cannot, your door, or Kentucky, that you can literally, by law, you cannot open your doors. Let's say, Roberto, I cannot open my doors. Then, are you educating 10 hours a day? I mean, for real, are you educating your patients 10 hours a day? Because unless you say, I want to take a vacation, which is obviously, say, if you want to do that, it's okay. But if you're not taking a vacation and you're home anyway, are you literally educating your patients 10 hours a day? Or you're just waiting for this wave to pass so that when your doors open, you're going to shape someone's attitude, and then you're going to convert, right? You're going to change someone's attitude. So then the next thing happens, they leave because you never reinforce. And I personally feel that right now is the time for people looking for leadership, right? There's so much uncertainty, and your job as the doctor is to bring certainty into uncertainties to become a leader. And I feel like it's really hard, Dr. Fred was talking before, it's really hard to transmit that certainty to your team. If you're the doctor, you don't have that. And if you already have, is your job to bring that certainty, that confidence to your team.
Well, everything you said is freaking brilliant. So, as always. So the thing is, the last video was certainty in the doctor. This video, we're touching on it again. The team is looking for leadership first.
Yep.
So unwavering conviction. Again, your conviction and your convenience don't live on the same block, right? So you have to extend your hours. You may have to do what it takes. But when your team sees unwavering conviction, their conviction is going to grow. So you have to set the bar that the team goes over. Now you're looking at a practice has different mindset. A culture has one mindset. The culture has to begin with the team. So the team has to be just as committed as the doctor, and the doctor's responsibility is to create an inspired team. You don't hire an inspired team. You hire the right people, and then you create the purpose, you create the vision, you create the culture, and it has one mindset. So before you start any shift, these are pre-shift huddles, you come to the same mindset. And this is where mindset first, systems next. You meet before you get on the same mindset, you get on the inspiration, you know how to talk to people when they call. And we're going to go over the psychology on the next video, the psychology of communication. Right now, video 1, psychology of the doctor, unwavering purpose. This video, we need to extend that psychology into the team. We raise the bar of the team. We do our pre-shift huddles. We do our staff meetings. We do our inspiration. And part of the thing is people are scared to get the disease. I mean, they're scared to get the virus. The reality is they suspect over 80% of all of American population will be exposed. So you tell this to your team, there's 330 million people in America. That means 250 million will be exposed to the virus. Okay? That means 25 million, may get the flu. Guess what? In 2020, 25 million were diagnosed with influenza. Now, how many people stayed at home sick with the flu, stayed at home at work, hey, I just got a cold, yeah, I got the flu, but it's not even reported.
Yep.
So last year, 25 million, that's 10% of 250 million, right? Even if it's 50 million, right? Now, 1% of those they may pass. 8,200 passed to the flu. In 2020 flu season, 8,200 passed away. So we may have more than that. And I'm not saying we shouldn't limit exposure, and we're not judging your belief system. All I'm saying is the belief systems of your team is running your practice. If someone's scared, then let them stay home. They may or may not get paid. You can decide that. If your whole team is scared, then don't be open, or have the doctor be there. But the teams that have unwavering purpose, so you got to look at it like we're all exposed already. But where does our power and control lie? On the one variable. And when you teach your team that, now you haven't been tested, you haven't been diagnosed. So if you don't have any symptoms, there's no reason to believe you have it. I wouldn't create the belief system that you do have it, but you've probably already been exposed, whether or not you have it or not. But the stronger your body, the more confidence we have. And that's the confidence that we have to put, in my opinion, in our patients. So now, when you impress people, see them at different limited hours.
So here's something, question for you. Some of the doctors will be like, yeah, man, maybe I haven't done a good job educating my team before. Maybe my culture was not as strong as should be. Maybe my patients are not as educated than it should be. So moving forward, right? And let's call this a big lesson for all of us, without judgmental, but for all of us.
No question. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So let's say it's just maybe a wake-up call, right? For doctors, like, man, I see other doctors or patients are quote unquote, they get it, mine didn't as much. So what would you recommend moving forward, to the rest of the year, the next couple of years, to create that culture, to create a team that has more, they're more gelled, they're more attached, they're more focused on the principle, they're believers? What would your recommendation be?
Well, I mean, my recommendation is psychology, because I look at elite practices, and the people that understand psychology, their practices are in the 10 to 20%. So learn the psychology. And the question is, where are you going to learn the psychology? Well, that's one of the things that we're doing now. And in the next video, we're going to actually give you answers. I'm also starting a day one, day two cash injection psychology plan, where you learn day one, day two on how to take the psychology. Now, here's the amazing thing. Here's the irony of the whole thing. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Every practice is still getting new patients. So why are the old patients, some of the old patients, leaving, but new patients are still coming in?
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
You know what I mean? So because we didn't teach them right, if we learn the psychology on day one, day two, and they're starving for the neuroimmunology message, they're starving for it. They're more open to it now. New patients are more open to the chiropractic message now than ever before. And so let's learn the psychology of how to create that experience and how to shift belief systems. Like, you think about, why are some old people leaving, but new people are still coming in? Like, isn't that ironic? Because even those old people that are leaving are still going outside to the grocery store. Liquor stores are open. They're still going to the liquor store, but they're not going to the chiropractor. So I'm not judging anybody, but what I'm saying is you learn how to influence in groups, and I'm not here to do this. I didn't expect that question, but in my opinion, I'll give my opinion, but I also know we both have spent decades in human behavior. That's why we're dealing with psychology on these interviews.
Yep.
Watch all the interviews that we put out, because we're putting this stuff out for free. Watch the Tuesday morning transformations. There's plenty of free information, but if you want somebody to take you by the hand and learn how to influence in groups and learn how to influence day one, day two, then give me a call and we'll have a psychology strategic call. Number one, I'll give you free communication just because we want to impact the profession. And if you want somebody to take you by the hand and train your team, I do that in a team. They'll teach you how to do that on video. Because you may not be having workshops now, you definitely need to refer to Roberto, which we'll have on these in a future recording, on how to influence the people that are home on video to get out of their house and come to you. Because guess what? They're already stepping out of their house. Why aren't they coming to you? Because we're going to teach you the psychology. So I'll do it one-on-one. Roberto will help you do it on video. And you will, when this thing passes, you will grow your practice exponentially and create a culture. Because right now, the meaning that we create in the minds of the general public right now will be the meaning they have for chiropractic when this thing passes.
Love you, brother.
If there was a mic, I'd throw it on the ground right now. I have to bang my head on the laptop.
Oh, brother. I love you, brother.
Yeah, I hope you guys are as fired up about this opportunity as
we are. We are, man. Love you. Fred Domenico, for what is your contact information?
Email Dr. Fred, DRFRED1, number 1 at MSN.com. Go to EliteCoachingLLC.com and you can fill out a start the process survey. You can call me 949-791-2986 and I give you my word. And Roberto, if I say that I'm going to do something, what's the probability I'm going to do it?
You are going to do it. 100%. You're going to do it. This is like, you're going to do it.
With you. I promise if you call me, I will give you communication that you can use without any obligation to anything else, because right now is the time. If you call me and we build a relationship, I will teach you how to stabilize and get people back in your practice. You don't have to have any commitment to anything else. I give you my word from my heart. I will do that because we need to make an impact right now.
And I would love to help you any way I can. We can, my information, just go to cairospeaking.com and my email is roberto@cairospeaking.com. And I feel like right now, if I were a Cairo, I would put volume 10 and just put the foot in the gas all the way, because people, first of all, they're at home, they have time, they're looking for leadership. And I think now is the time for the doctors of chiropractic to establish themselves as the pillar, as the main guy, as the main girl that can help them, lead them in the context of health and wellness. But if you're quiet, won't happen.
Sorry to interrupt. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a video on doc-patient team communication to patients. And then we're going to make a video communication on video that you should be emailing out, because everybody right now should be doing videos at least twice a week.
That's it.
Twice a week. You got to build that culture with the people that aren't going to see you right now, or the patients that think they need to stay home. Not only can you bring some of them out of their home, but when they do come out of their home, they're going to come seeking you, because whoever is a leader in the crisis, whoever they put their trust in right now, is who they're going to come and see, who they're going to invest in when this thing passes. So we're going to show you communication with patients, and then we're going to have another video, communication on video.
Love you, brother. Right. Can't wait for our next video.
Oh, yeah. Peace.
Boom. Kill.